Noni Madueke to Arsenal makes no sense. In fact, to me, it's nonsense. Even that, when I break it down, and we love to buy defenders and goalies and bargain hunt in Chelsea, it makes complete sense. Now I hear it. At best, I could say it's a Saka backup in it. At this point, I'm exhausted about it. Whether you do you believe people were genuinely going to buy a right winger, a left winger, so backup for Saka slash being able to play in other roles, an out and out upgrade on the existing left wing options, and the striker? I don't know. At best, now for me, it's just put the Sesko Gyökeres in the bag. Give me my essay, and you can do your Madueke stuff. But it is what it is. I'll give everybody a chance for Arsenal Football Club. I don't believe in Madueke's qualities. I don't think he's a terrible player, and I do think there's, from everyone, including myself, there's a slight exaggeration. I don't think he's a bad player. He plays for the country, plays for Chelsea, and he could play for Arsenal. That being said, let's not overly paint this as some masterstroke. This is not goosebumps from what Mikel Arteta has been suggesting, considering that where wide additions, whether that be a Saka backup or a left wing addition, where you look at our pursuits of Nico Williams previously, Rafinha, Mikhail Mudryk in the very season, Martinelli was standout. We've known we've needed a left winger and actually a striker. So when you see this, it is uninspiring. He's not going to be the first nor the last player that was kind of slept on, but it's uninspiring, it's lazy, and it's predictable, people. That being said, at the end of the day, I can't change anything, and Arsenal are going to have to live or die by their decisions, in it. Just make sure there's a parade in May of 2026. Now, we know this seems to be advancing quickly. While there's been no fee agreed, etc., Romano, who milks everything, really, he's provided some level of an update. Understand Arsenal are set to send opening bid for Noni Madueke after agreement with the player on personal terms. Told Madueke has committed to a 5-year deal valid until June 2030, already approved by the players' camp. Let me know your thoughts and smash the like button, people. Madueke, meanwhile, was pushing to leave Chelsea. It feels like, obviously, Arsenal have taken over stuff, but it feels like this was going to be the end of their relationship, in Chelsea are laughing, especially if they go and get Kudus on top of having Cole Palmer and Estalvio and, bringing in João Pedro and the rest of it, people. It's nonsense, really and truly, from us. We've heard that Maresca and a few players had a bit of a falling out with Madueke after our defeat. This is obviously from a Chelsea perspective to Newcastle at the running in last season. Okay, disagreements happen. There have been issues between Noni and Maresca over work rate, attitude, and training work. Now, again, I'm sure Mikel Arteta and Arsenal have done their due diligence on his personality, had a conversation with him, so they clearly have no worries about that. But when you hear question marks over work rate, around attitude, it's not really posing well for Arsenal. We've seen this at our club already. Noni wants to play on the right, and there's been some feelings about him being subbed off early and first in some games when he believed he was playing well. That could happen at Arsenal. Chelsea now happy to part ways. We've also heard Noni changed agents in June, and just before the Club World Cup, they went to the Chelsea board and said they want him out. Our sources now expect the move to Arsenal to happen. Chelsea will replace him. Well, it's not really hard to replace someone that got 7 goals in the Premier League last season, scored a hat-trick, but that came in his first game of the season in the Premier League, the second game of Chelsea season. I don't think he's a bad player. It's not really uninspiring. It's not really inspiring, and we need to have more answers than questions. Where you look at our attacking unit, yeah, so that's Merino, because he's played up front for us, Kai Havertz, Bukayo Saka, Nwaneri, which we'll get onto, Trossard, who's being linked with Fenerbahce, Martinelli. Who really provides answers? Bukayo Saka. For the last 3 years, yeah, where we've had different goal scorers, different players in form, he's done that on a consistent basis. We love Nwaneri. We know long-term he's an 8 or a 10. I personally would rather Nwaneri get the minutes off the right than Madueke. And if Madueke is going to play on a consistent basis on the left, I hope it all works out for this football club. But is he a stronger option off the left-hand side? Then a fit Jesus, if he's fit and when fit, then Martinelli, then Trossard, or is it more of the same? It's a bit of a mixed bag. Yeah, he's English, he's 23, the potential, all that kind of jazz. But I mean, come on, man. They're gonna try and get 50 odd million. He's probably gonna be on 100 grand a week. Not that I care, because go get your money. It's not making sense. So don't sit there and tell me we've got no money, powder dry, all of that kind of jazz. It is what it is in that regard. Now, again, it clearly, Maresca's addressed the media about concerns about Madueke. I expect players to be professional when substituted. Madueke's anger was unacceptable. It's disrespectful to me in the club. If you're not performing well, you can't expect to play 90 minutes. So maybe he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. Long story short, it seems like this has been an ongoing kind of thing. Maybe he feels he's not getting his flowers. He is human. But yeah, personal terms with Arsenal have been agreed. Arsenal are yet to bid, and we're set to approach Chelsea as via Ben Jacobs, people. I mean, I know it seems like Spurs are going to go and get Mohamed Kudus. Ornstein's provided an update, but for the fee, I'd imagine Madueke and Kudus are going to have similar fees. Why not go for Kudus? Obviously, it can't happen now, but you get the point of where I'm going with it, people. Chelsea have been showing interest in Nwaneri's situation, only in case new deal won't be sealed with Arsenal. Nwaneri and Arsenal in talks over new deal, while player wants game time guaranteed. Separate deal from Madueke, who agreed personal terms with Arsenal. Chelsea have inquired about Nwaneri in the last 24 hours and have told those close to the player that they are ready to attack if issues arrive with his contract negotiation at Arsenal. Arsenal are understood to have given Nwaneri reassurances on his game time and long-term future, with the Gunners confident of retaining the midfielder. His situation at Arsenal apparently is one to watch. Again, his contract's up in 2026. He's reluctant to sign a new deal without being guaranteed regular game time. All big clubs in Europe on alert. He just needs a platform. He was on the cusp of getting an England call-up. You could get minutes off the left. I'd rather him get minutes off the left ahead of Madueke. I'd rather him be exposed to playing as an 8 and a 10 beyond the obvious. And again, I'd rather him be the backup for Bukayo Saka if it is a player like Madueke. Moving on, Arsenal are now ready to make an offer of over 90 million euros for Rodrigo after the Club World Cup ends. The player has put talks with Arsenal on standby until the tournament ends. Apparently, El Nasser have held initial talks with Real Madrid forward Rodrigo, so a move to Saudi could be on the cards. Intermediaries with direct mandate from Saudi clubs have been told in no uncertain terms that Rodrigo's preference is to move to the Premier League, with Arsenal as absolute priority in case a deal can be struck with Real Madrid. Arsenal will have to pay well in excess of 70 million to sign Rodrigo from Real Madrid, and possible competition from Bayern Munich and PSG could further increase the price. I mean, Bayern Munich, you could definitely play off the left. PSG are exciting under Luis Enrique. There'll be a bag of clubs interested. Sporting fear Gyökeres will go on strike this week to force Arsenal transfer after gentleman's agreement broken. Portuguese sources have told Sun Sport Gyökeres, who netted 54 goals in 52 appearances last term, is increasingly unlikely to turn up, so it's turning sour. Arsenal plot striker transfer breakthrough as crunch Victor Gyökeres D-Day beckons. Sporting are expecting Arsenal target Victor Gyökeres to report for pre-season training next week. Arsenal believe next week could hold the key to their seemingly never-ending striker hunt. Portuguese champion Sporting CP are expecting a one-way striker Victor Gyökeres to report for pre-season training, but the Swede is still threatening to go on strike in order to facilitate his dream switch to North London. Gyökeres and his agent Hassan Santikaya remain at war with Sporting president Federico Varandas, who has been accused of ripping up a gentleman's agreement that would enable the 27-year-old frontman to depart for 60 million. Varandas has made it clear Sporting won't sell their star man for below what they consider to be fair market value, and now the tense situation is threatening to come to a head. The Sweden international was initially due to report for pre-season training on Monday, when a number of Sporting's first-team stars will also be back for physical training. It's understood Gyökeres, who is currently in his homeland awaiting movement, was last night handed a 4-day extension until Friday, the day before Sporting travelled to Algarve for a training camp, as Sporting chiefs seek to defuse the saga, which is now threatening to reach breaking point. Arsenal persistently flirted with swoops for both Victor Gyökeres and RB Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko this summer, but if the ex-Coventry hitman does not show up for training in Sporting, there is optimism Sporting will have no choice but to soften their stance over their price tag. Gyökeres is planning to hold face-to-face talks with Varandas upon returning to Portugal, and it's understood he feels there is now no way back, as he does not want to be denied the opportunity or chance to sign on the dotted line with Arsenal, given his contribution to Sporting over the past 2 seasons. Berta has been actively pushing for the Sweden international since arriving at the club. Arteta has been courting Sesko for the best part of 18 months. Should Sporting slash their asking price, it would significantly strengthen Arsenal's hand to live either player. If Arsenal did not want to push the button on Gyökeres, there is a sense they could use Sporting's reduced demands as leverage in negotiation with Leipzig for Sesko, which is why they've been so determined to play the long game. Gyökeres has obviously, been in Greece with a personal trainer working out. Sesko has been relaxing apparently on the Greek island, and remarkably, the 2 striker targets have even shared the same mobile barber in the past 10 days. Bit crazy. Arsenal sources deny they've made an offer for either player today, although Berta has held initial dialogue with the reps of both clubs. Apparently, last month it's understood he met Sporting director Bernardo Palermo in Mallorca, where informal discussions took place, and simultaneously he's met with Leipzig's counterpart as well. Arsenal appear to have a clear run at both forwards. I don't necessarily believe that. We are still linked with Hugo Ekitike and Ollie Watkins. People, what we've made of that. Eze, Rodrigo rumors won't go away, and it seems like Madueke has become a reality. Sources close to Chelsea have indicated they're now expecting Arsenal to bid for the England international, and negotiations could not advance in the and negotiations could not advance in the forthcoming days. I don't know what that means, but fair enough, people. So yeah, Sporting feel Gyökeres could go on strike as it seems to have turned sour. Apparently, Sporting know there is massive interest in the start and are demanding at least 68.5 million. Do you lot think that's worth it? I'm not sure, people. He snubbed lucrative offers from Saudi Arabia as he wants to continue to play in a top division. So we're going to have to monitor this. But again, at this point, everybody's saying the same things. And we've heard that there's a growing sense of fear and anxiety with Leipzig over the sale, potential sale of Benjamin Sesko. They need to sell to reinvest and keep it moving. Arsenal consider 60 million a fair price. Leipzig want upwards of 70 million. His agent has been so far reluctant to pressure Leipzig into a sell. There are frustrations that a gentleman's agreement that the player could leave for 60 million is in danger of being broken. So two strikers with two gentlemen's agreements. See how dirty it is. What I would say is it appears that Gyökeres is doing all he can. The Sporting, his agent is doing all he can. Gyökeres is doing all he can. Sporting have made their position known. It's kind of radio silence on Leipzig's part. So we'll have to see how all of these things develop. As mentioned, Trossard is linked with a move away, especially if you go and bring in a Madueke, maybe an Eze Rodrigo, all these things. There have been talks with clubs from Saudi Arabia and Fenerbahce also showed considerable interest in Leandro Trossard. In fact, it's even been translated. Apparently, Trossard is open to a switch to Fenerbahce. I mean, it's a big club. We've had an opening bid for Blackburn striker Igor Tyjon turned down. The Gunners made an offer of around 1 million plus extras, so it is a bit of a myth in that regard. Noni Madueke, unfortunately, is accelerating to Arsenal. Eze, David Ornstein has spoken. I think Arsenal, wouldn't want to be going as high as the release clause if they proceed with this. Seems like there's a lot of speed for mediocre players, so yeah, it's a decisive week for Gyökeres. It'd be nice to go and get Mohamed Kudus, who's drawing interest from Spurs and Chelsea. Why we want Madueke, I don't know.